Oh. 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 Sairam, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Sairam, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Having some problem with my laptop and Zoom. I don't know, but anyway. Just to recollect what we discussed last week, I think Swami has introduced the concept of contentment as a prerequisite for someone who is the path of meditation. And Swami also is saying that only through praying to the Lord and through meditation that you will get contentment also. And I think that's what we were discussing. I think there were lots of thoughts being shared by the participants, and I don't think we had enough time to go through them. There were questions like, how can we love the Lord? How, I think there was something like, how do we have the desire only for God? And those were being discussed from what I can recollect. So I will again, I don't know, sisters, you can read the same slide, and then we can discuss it further before we move on. Side.
Sairam, have contentment and desire only the Lord. You must have contentment, whatever the gain or loss or state. This is essential. Contentment grants and increases happiness. For the contented mind, life is an endless festival, but the mind worried by desire will have no rest. With desire troubling you, concentration is impossible. Desire is the fire in your frame. It reduces you to ashes. Contentment is the effective drug to destroy it. Just as a bath in the cool waters of a stream refreshes a traveler who is exhausted and perspiring in the burning heat of day, the one suffering from the scorching fire of greed will be refreshed by the pellucid waters of contentment. One should have desire only for the path of realization. One should not dedicate one's life for the mean desires of the world. Dedicate all to the Lord. That is genuine contentment. That is the result of the acquisition of peace of mind, shanti, joy, santosha, and discrimination, vicharana. Direct visualization of the Lord, sankshatra, is also possible then. To acquire these, remembrance of the Lord's name, smarana, and meditation, dhyana, are the only means. Only they can give you that power. Nowhere else you get them. Nowhere else will you get them.
So I think we discussed this briefly last week. So I will again open it up for the participants to share your thoughts, questions, and any learnings achieved. I think maybe 1 week you would have had chance to contemplate on it. So I will just leave it open for the members to share their thoughts. Saira.
I guess one question I had was, if you, even if you have desire for the Lord as your only desire, won't you be discontented because until you reach that desire? So I know Swami says that you should always be content, but shouldn't you also have some discontent so that you feel that motivates you to want to reach the goal or reach the Lord?
Okay, good question, sister. Again, I will open up for others to share what you think. So I think it's a good question. Even our desire for the path of realization, moksha, itself can come about only through some discontent. So how does tripti come into play is, I think, sister's question. I will open it up for discussion, please.
Sairam, the contentment is very essential for spiritual development, because see, if I want to say, if I am thinking about my promotion in the work, only about the promotion, or some, so if I want to amass wealth, more and more earning, or 2 houses, 3 houses, like that. So there's no way of meditation or knowing the truth of myself. No? So the contentment should be there always. Oh, this money is enough for me. This house is enough for me. This job level is enough for me. If we want to go upward in career in our career, also we can do it without having attachment to that promotion or the higher studies. You know that it is you are doing the higher studies only for to develop devotion to God and serve the community as a means of spiritual sadhana. We can take it as a means of spiritual sadhana. So this is, yeah.
Sorry, Uncle, go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to ask from what you're saying. So in here contentment, Swami here is referring to materialistic and worldly things, right? So Kalyani's question is for us, our desire to attain God or that moksha, that which is spiritual, in that is a desire. So if that is we are desiring, so we can not be content with what we have now. So there's two different things here, right? So Swami here is referring to being content with worldly aspiration, right? Yes, not spiritual.
Yeah. So Kalyani's question is, we need discontent in the spiritual, in the worldly life, no?
Yeah, so she's asking, I think Kalyani, correct me if I'm wrong. I think I had the same thing too. If you are content with what you have now, then our desire to reach God cannot be content. Like that is a desire itself. So you cannot content that, right? Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, exactly. I think you phrased it really well. Like I was just thinking of contentment as one overall feeling of contentment in general, but like Uncle Sivadas explained and you have summarized, I think, yeah, maybe Swami's referring more to the worldly contentment with our worldly possessions and things, but should have content to reach that spiritual goal.
Yeah. So actually, but Bhavan's friends, including brother, I don't know, they study MCom and everything. So Bhavan is asking them to study further and further, so that they can return it to the society. So always our development, whether it could be monetary development or education development, we should have the aim, I will make use it for the good of the society. That is a spiritual discipline, one of the spiritual discipline. But if we just study for the status stage or money or everything, there's no way of coming to the spiritual path and knowing my true identity. If I don't understand who I am, then at the time of death, I will mourn. I will mourn how I am leaving my property, I leave my children, wife and husband and everything. It will be a terrible experience. It will be a terrible experience. If the experience at the last time, at the last moment of our life, to be healthy and good and beneficial, we must have a limit to the worldly desires and completely change on to God. And that's what we will touch this point, and brother didn't complete it. The Bhagavad Gita Sloka chapter 9 and chapter 9 Sloka number 22, that it says that whoever yogi, he calls him yogi, any person who is completely thinking of God is a yogi. To such person, I'll take the responsibility of providing him whatever is required for his earthly living, and also I will ensure he will reach the highest abode after his period here. So he guarantees that if we contemplate 100% on him, even all that our life is going to be very smooth. Everything will be very smooth, and he will take care of everything. And our goal also achieved. I will understand my true reality, and I will have my eternal peace through that. So that is that sloka. But brother explained that sloka in very, very, very accurate way, very different way, very highly evolved theoretical way. I would like brother also compare that what he said in the Gita. Sanyasam he did for, I don't know when he did it, that we would like to have that sloka explained clearly. And then just in the end.
Sairam.
Yes.
So if anybody has that contentment, that he's the richest person in the world, because he has always peace in the mind. He can take the decision, always take the decision, correct decision, and he can uplift on that spiritual path. He will get everything because he's satisfied. He has whatever he has, he's satisfied with that. So contentment is very important things. The worldly or the spiritual path, contentment is very important thing. Thank you, Sarah.
So Sairam, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
For the contented minds, you have to satisfy everything in the world we think. If you are not satisfied, then you cannot bring your mind calm. So the mind goes with the desire. We studied the desire is like a fire. It will burn you, and you are not going to be in the whatever you have on the spiritual side. You lose whatever you have to. So you have to be satisfied. But that's what Baba says always. If you take a shoes, the size is also problem, less size also problem. But to bring that mind to calm, you have to be satisfied. I don't know why in Canada, most of the people are not satisfied because their desire is more. So the mind is the one bringing the desire. They're going towards the desire. So if you are satisfied, everything, whatever the God has given to you, you follow the path of the God. So here, the main thing, a lot of people are not into the spiritual path. They're not satisfied in their life because they want more and more, whether they have it or not. They want more food, more clothes, more car, more houses. They are running behind to the worldly thing. So if you are satisfied whatever you have, no issue in the meditation. That is my issue. Thank you.
Sairam,
Sairam.
if contentment is the basis or basic need of meditation and turn our minds to God, we have to do away with our desires. And for controlling the desires, we have to tame our mind. The mind is the culprit behind all these different types of lower feelings. So when you don't have desire, when you don't have desire, then your mind becomes cool, and you don't expect things outside. And when you are progressing on the spiritual path, your mind is diverted to good things. You do self-love service and all the rest of it, which our Bhagawan says, we follow. And slowly our mind is cleansed. So if the mind is not cleansed, then we cannot focus on meditation. Even other good things we cannot, because our mind is always agitated and direct us on the wrong path. So first of all, we have to control slowly the mind, and then the desires, then contentment will come. If you satisfy one desire, another one crops up. So there is no end for that. So mind has to be controlled or streamlined, and then we have to do away, we have to think, because as you progress, we know that this is not going to be a final thing or permanent thing which is going to direct us towards the goal. So then we will slowly try to understand, remove the ignorance, and then think about a life not focusing more on desires. When you have a desire, definitely your mind is not going to be focused. So slowly we have to remove the desires and do things that Swami asks us to do, and then only we can have this contented mind, and that will help. Before that, we can have love towards God and do all our other things, related to praying to Swami and Namasmaran and all that. When we do that, slowly our mind becomes cleansed, and then we'll be able to focus more on that. Whenever we sit to meditate, we'll be able to, at least for some time, and that will be progressive along the way, and one day we'll be able to succeed in that. So mind, desire, we have to control. That gives us contentment, and that contentment will lead us to have a calm mind to concentrate and do dhyana, meditation. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Yes, sister, go ahead.
Sai Ram, brother, I think like this. When you have desire for Lord, automatically the contentment will come. So whatever Swami is asking, whatever Swami like to do, when we start practicing that, I think we will, that automatically the contentment you will have your contentments. That's my thought on this. Thanks, Sai Ram.
Okay, thank you, sister. I just wanted to pause here once, because in the Telugu, the way Swami has written is slightly different than how it is appearing in the English. So I will just read out. I think Auntie Mani Auntie is here. Maybe better to do this, because what Swami is saying is actually the start of this title, and has come in between a full paragraph of writing in Telugu, and it has been broken into two sections here. And I think that maybe I understand Brother Sivadas is thinking, that the Ananya Bhakti is the topic here, which it is true. But I thought I will. That opens up a slightly larger section, and I think it may be nice to do with the Dhyana Vahini as the material which we are studying, rather than me one person talking. See, what Swami is saying here is, Swami is saying, if you go back to the previous slide, I don't know, can you go back to the previous slide? Sorry about it. Okay, so Swami is starting with this. Okay, you must cultivate character. The last paragraph. For character outlasts the body, virtues are your strength, character is power. So train your mind and use it to attain the visualization of God. Hold fast to that goal. Okay, so Swami has said that. Okay, hold fast that to that goal. And then Swami says in Telugu, I will just read. Itti samyamuలలో ఏమీ జరిగినను తృప్తిగానే ఉండవలను. So what Swami says is, when you are doing like that, when you're holding fast to only one goal, which is the sakshatkara of the Lord, that is, you want to realize the Lord. When you are doing that, whatever else happens, you be contented with that. So I think we should take this into consideration along with that one. So Swami, two words which Swami says, itti samyamulalo. That means in this, at this time, I don't know, Maniyanti, if she's there, she can correct me or add to this.
Yeah, itti samyamulo.
Yeah.
That is, మానవుడు శరీరం వదలినను స్వభావములు లోకమున నిలిచియే ఉండును. నడవడికలు మానవునికి నిజమైన కీర్తి. The behavior is it is for him, it is the fame. కీర్తి బలము, గుణమే శక్తి. ఈ గుణము ఒక్క సాక్షాత్కారము కొరకు వినియోగించును. You use your virtues to realize that sakshatkara. దానినే పట్టు hold on to it. ఇట్టి సమయంలో ఏమి జరిగినా తృప్తిగానే ఉండవలను. Whatever happens, you have to be contented at that time. That's what Swami is trying to say. Yeah,
So,
Arun?
yes, thank you. So basically, when you have that as the sole goal, anything else happens, just be contented with it. You know, there may be no money, there may be ill health, there can be disaster around you, there can be corona. You know, just be content, because these are challenges which come around us. But Swami says, hold fast to that one goal of attaining sakshatkara. Okay, so that sort of, I hope Kalyani answers your question. That is the discontent, if you want to say, that not attaining sakshatkara. Yes, we will have that desire. I think that's where they have said, have contentment, desire only for the Lord. That means that should be your sole goal. When that is the goal, anything else happens. Emi jariginanu, Swami says, whatever happens. Swami, here they have said gain or loss. Swami says, there may be gain or loss, but emi jariginanu means whatever happens, be contented. So I thought I will just mention that, so that I hope.
Brother, in order for you to be content again, you have to have the desire, right, for the Lord. So that is the only one will make it content. Am I right, please?
Yes, but you are not yet reached that state. So Swami is talking about a state where you have not reached there yet. You have not reached the because sakshatkara, till it comes, you are not, tripti is not there. Contentment, even with respect to God, is also not there.
Yeah,
so,
contentment will not be there, but the path of desire for Lord will take there, right?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, but
Okay.
Swami is talking about people who have not attained that, I think, sister.
Okay, thank you.
When we have not yet, we don't have Swami, we don't have the world. So what do? That is the lot for most of us. Okay, even if Swami is very difficult to attain, maybe at least let us be contented in the world. Then we will chase the goals and ambitions in this world. So that is easily, because we can't see the Lord. He is not here. We can't even talk. We don't know where he is. Is he listening? All these problems will come. So, okay, sakshatkara means the God has to be in front of you. So that has not happened. So what we do, we just say, Swami, okay, now you wait for a little while. We are going to be busy with the world. Okay, because at least if we don't have contentment here, let's have contentment in the world. And that's how we chase goals and ambitions in the world. But Swami says, whatever else happens in the world, don't worry about it. So because you have not got this, you have not got that. But he says, don't be distracted. I think that's where Brother Sivadas was saying, Ananya, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Don't think of anything else. And then I will look after, as Brother says. But the thing is, we suddenly worry if it's like Draupadi praying to Krishna to save her, but she was holding on to the sari because it is that kind of that's our lot, you know. We think if till God comes, let's hold on. He will say, if you don't leave and call me out, I will not come. So I think it's something like that. Sorry about it. I don't know whether a digression.
Yeah, thank you.
Sai Ram, does it mean, brother, equanimity and surrender? If we have to take everything in the right way?
I think surrender is the sister, surrender. I don't know, equanimity is a bit more difficult, I think, to attain. Once we surrender, we may have that. But yes, you're right. I think that's my understanding. But I will again ask others to comment.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, brother, if you have a soul for God, then you have to have the patience and the faith that Shraddha and Saburi. Whatever is happened, you should not give up those two things. So faith and patience is very, very important. And if you think that you are the God's servant and you are doing God's work, then definitely you can achieve that. Thank you.
Sai Ram, Swami wants us to practice sealing on desires. It is one of the 9-point code of conduct. So with contentment, is satisfaction or manatirutti. So we have to assess what is our needs and wants. Having what we need is the right size of shoes that Brother Dasan said. Having more and more, wanting more and more is not going to give us peace of mind. Without peace of mind, we cannot do meditation. So I think contentment, satisfaction is number one. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, if I could just, sorry. Oh, Sai Ram, if I could just clarify one thing. So does that mean once your only goal is the Lord, then you should have contentment? Yes. So if I'm having any discontent, that means that's not my only goal yet.
Yeah, I think it's a good question, because what happens, I think, in the path of spirituality, even though, you know, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, you know, Krishna is vouching Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. In Gita Vahini, Swami says, people think God will give everything in this world. We will have enough food to eat, we will have a nice place to stay, and all that. Swami says that is not what actually is vouching. He's saying, he vouches yoga, means uniting with the God is vouched. And kshema of that he is vouching, so that he will help you hold on to that he will help. The reality is most devotees would have gone through lots of suffering. The world will, you know, they will not have money, they will be in poverty, they will have some disease, there will be losses all around them. It's very common. So people can ask, you know, Krishna has promised Yoga Kshevam, so you are suffering. So what is the problem? Maybe you are just foolish to think that God is looking after you, because you don't have this. Any people who don't have faith or any devotion seem to be enjoying life. And you don't even have the basics. That's what people, the world will tell. But the one who is looking only for the Lord will not be worried about those things. Should not be worried about those things. Because there's a price which everyone has to pay for anything in this world. And sometimes the price is worldly happiness. That's my view. I think it seems very scary to many people, you know, but that's it. Yes, he will give bear, you know, he will not let you die, you know, but he will not. He may take away everything. That's my understanding. Because if we think, you know, we have everything, then the devotion doesn't come actually. Devotion is then, it is only for the worldly comfort. So I think even though that shloka says yoga kshemam vahamyama, the Lord is not promising, I would say, comfort. I would say he's not promising comfort. So that is why Swami is telling, be contented. That means there's going to be something lacking. So sorry, I don't know whether I'm sounding very
It's
pessimistic.
okay. That's correct. Yeah, good approach here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the devotion. Sorry, go ahead.
No, brother, go ahead.
So
Repeat.
the devotion to the Lord, to the Guru, devotion to the Guru itself is a reward. So, but we don't see the reward there. We don't see the reward there, and because we don't see the reward there, and we have desire in the world, and that is even Sister Aruna was touching that point. So it is proportion, and how we are without desiring anything, fame, name, anything. We should not have any desire towards even coming to study circle, for example. If I feel that, oh, today is study circle, then that is also a desire. So there cannot be any sort of desire. Any sort of desire. Only then we can love our Guru, God, or Lord. So in that devotion, he blesses us to have contentment. He bestow his darshan, or proximity. He shows the proximity in the sadhana, so that we are not worried about this world. So, as brother said, it could be anything as far as the world is concerned. It could be anything. It could be birds or anything. But that our devotion to God gives us enough boost to continue devotion, as brother nicely said, and until that he will help us improve in that path. That's for sure. He will help us grow in that devotion to him, which will be worthwhile living in this world. That's what I feel it. And thank you, Sai Ram. You can go ahead. Yeah.
Sai Ram, brother. I think Sister Aruna wanted to say something.
Sai Ram, brother. I am trying to understand here again the desire only for God. Now we have desire only for God. Here the title is have contentment, desire only for God. So desire only for God we have to attain. So for that, I think we have to do things that is going to please the God, or what is the right thing. That there only the desire for God will come. So whatever we are going to do, the service or bhakti or anything that we are putting in action, that's the thing, is a desire, or something else. I'm trying to understand the desire here.
Okay, sister, see, this is what I understand. For all this, we have to take what I call case studies. Case studies means devotees who are genuine devotees. So you look at any devotee who are considered, Swami has spoken highly of. Let's take Prahlada. Let's take Meera. Let's take the Gopikas. Let's the Pandavas. The number of suffering and discomfort which they all went through is innumerable. But the thing is, their faith did not slacken because even though they were suffering, they had what's called tripti. They were contented with whatever they had. They lost almost everything. So, but the thing is, the Lord was there with them. For all of them, Lord was there. For Prahlada, the Lord was there. For Meera, the Lord was there. For the Pandavas, the Lord was there. For the Kuchela. So what I'm saying is, Swami says, in this Kali Yuga, everyone wants to sit comfortably in their AC room without exerting themselves in any way, without spending a single penny of their money, which is in their bank accounts. They're just looking up in the sky and hoping that Sakshatkara will fall into their lap. They are willing to pay money and do anything for any worldly thing. That they don't have a problem. But as soon as spirituality comes, they think, God, I want to be comfortable in my, soft chair. I want to sleep nicely in a comfortable bed. Don't want to exert. But let Sakshatkara fall into my lap. So the thing is, if we should be willing to give that up, that's what Swami says. So if that is taken away from us, we should be still happy and contented, because that is the proof to our own self that we are holding fast to that goal of Sakshatkar. So that is possible, and Swami will say, I will test you. Because generally we think we have faith means, I have faith in Swami because he will look after me. I have faith in Swami, so I will have money. I have faith in Swami. Swami will say, that's not faith. That is, you have faith in the worldly things which will give you satisfaction and security. No, you should see, have faith in the Lord, that he will take care of you in such a way that you reach him. That is the faith, not for worldly comfort, worldly lack of problems. Is my understanding. I maybe throw, it's painting a very grim picture.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
But it's not a grim picture for one who thinks the Lord is everything. Sai Ram.
So Sai Ram, brother, so according to that one, then that means we have to have the faith and patience. So we have to ask for grace and his blessing. So this is, God will give anything. It's like a Katpataru. If you ask anything, he's going to give you. So look at Ravana and Hiranyakasipu. They all asked worldly thing. They didn't ask to merge with him. That's what they died, and they have gone through so many issues. So be patient and faith. Ask for always his grace and blessing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I would like to just say this. Just as Brother Aruna said, he named the devotees Prahlada, Meera, whatever, and same thing in our tradition, all the Nayanmars and Alvar, all same story, all their life and devotion in their life prove what Brother Aruna said. That's true. But at the same time, as Sivadas pointed out, when we really get close to that situation, it is one-to-one between me and God. We wouldn't even think of study circle or even anything, as Brother Aruna said. So I'm just saying this because we can see where we are and where that situation, that stage is silent.
Sairam, but Brother Aruna was trying to say. I tried to catch it. It is true. So now we have houses and cars and jobs and everything. We might think, oh, this is coming due to our devotion to Sai Baba. That is a very questionable question now. Whatever we did in the past, coming fruition in this life. So I am enjoying, what I am enjoying currently now is what I did in the past. So what I am doing currently will going to yield the result in the future. in the future. It could be the latter part of the life or the next lives. So without following Bhagavan's principles, now he says, speak the truth. Do we speak the truth? He says, find the coordination between thought, word, and deed. Do we match it? Do we match it? So every teaching, he says, every teaching, if we are following that teaching, definitely God will come forward to bless us. It is essential. It is essential. That is essential. Without this essential discipline, following the discipline, God will not give us His grace. So the first and foremost important thing is following His words, what He says. Each of everything we have to see, look into that one. Every minute thing, everything I have to look into that one. So when we do that, when we follow Him, then we are the real student of Him, actually, the disciples. Then He will give us the sakshatkara, which is the true identity. Now we are in the false. We identify falsely with something that we didn't really. I don't know who really I am. And Bhagavan has said in many places, according to the Baba students, Baba has said several times, very accurately said, I am waiting for the time when you understand there's no difference between you and me. That is a sakshatkar level. So we have to proceed towards that to get that ultimate eternal state. So we should not confuse with what we have is due to our devotion to God. That's a very false notion that everybody must understand. That's a brother trying to say that one. So don't judge that, oh, my children are like this, so I am devoted to God, my devotion to God, and all. It is not that. It is a past karma bearing fruit now. So what we do is going to bear fruit in the coming future. So are we following the principles of Bhagavan? That's another thing brother pointed out. We have the money in the bank or whatever it is. But are we parting the money for the benefit of the needy people? Do we have the mind to part the money? So many things we have to self-audit and find out what true devotion is, what our bhakti is, and what is this. That's what I think the brothers were saying that. Thank you, Sairam. Thank you, Sairam. I'm stopping with this one.
Sairam, brother, Sai.
Sairam, if we have that 100% faith on God and we are following the teaching of God, and we are the 100% right, and we have the right to ask Swami that anything we want. That's my understanding, that Swami says that if a man or woman they got married, the person both has that rights, that each one has the right against other people, know that husband or wife, they get the right things. Likewise, if you are a real devotee, you have right to ask Swami whatever you want. That's my opinion. Thank you, Saira. If we have 100% faith and but we are following the Swami's teaching, and we have rights to get from Swami everything, because he never let us down. He's always give the hands and brings up always. Thank you, Saira.
But brother, we don't need to ask, no? That you are correct, but do we need to ask him?
No. We have demand. We have demand because we have the right, because our heart is the God, because our heart know that we are doing the right things or not. Then we can ask. Then only we can ask. No, our heart say that you are right to ask.
Asking is something we heard about the Harry, right? We are not supposed to, right? Yes, yeah, we are not
No,
supposed.
so I say we have rights. No, that's right, because we are, if you are the right devotee, and also that whatever the Swami gives, that you can get that as a prasadam. No, that whatever gives that you must come to the level there. Then only you know that everything Swami gives that for our good, for our good, because Swami said that. Swami says anything that Navagraha can do nothing if Anugraha has we have the Anugraha from the God. So we can believe God. Thank you, Saira.
So I think brother is right in saying that you can ask God. I think the question is, I think Swami says, if you want anything, ask me.
Yes.
Don't ask the world. Don't ask anyone else.
Anything you can ask from Swami.
Yes, but I think the second part is, what happens if he doesn't give? Okay, because we have the right to ask and he has the right to refuse. I think it happens in even in a married life, you know.
Yes.
The husband or wife can ask, they will think I am spouse, I can ask,
Yes.
I can demand.
Yeah,
But
understand.
how much, what we demand and how whether it's given is,
Yes.
you know, that determines what our future relationship is. I think it's okay to ask, but tripti comes, contentment comes when God doesn't give you what you ask, you still are happy.
We are still happy that we have, because I said that we had to come to the stage, you know, that then we can get that right and wrong and everything, good and bad. We have the equanimity there.
That means
anything if doing for us that God is good for me, then we have to take it that way. And Swami gives that not right away. If you ask something, Swami never refuse it, never reject it. But when the times come, he will give you.
So about asking, there's this nice story which Swami tells. Maybe I will tell if it's okay for others.
Yeah.
So he says there was one businessman, and he was in Mumbai. He was a businessman. He had 4 wives. He says. So of the 4 wives, you know, business. He was a rich fellow, so he could afford to have 4 wives.
Yes.
And he went abroad for a few months on a business trip. And he went abroad, and after about 5 or 6 months, he was returning. So he called all his wives and asked what they want. Apparently, the first wife said, you know, I want some nice jewelry, the best one, can you bring for me? He said, that's fine. The second wife said, you know, for the past 6 months, I am suffering from some stomach ailment, and the doctor is telling there's a particular medicine which is expensive, but it's only available abroad. Can you bring me? He said, no problem, I will bring that. Then apparently the third wife, you know, she's given to reading all sorts of books. So she said, you know, I saw some new book reviews of some new books which are released. They are not available in India. So can you procure them and come 5, 6? So he said, that's fine, I will bring. Then the last wife he asked, and she said, I don't want anything, I just want you, you come back.
Yeah, come back.
He said, no problem. So the businessman comes back. He brought the best jewelry to the first wife who asked, because she said it's her right. He gave it to her. And then he took the medicine and gave it to the wife who asked for medicines. Then he took the books and gave it to the wife who asked for books. Then he went and stayed in the fourth wife's house, apparently. So other 3 were wondering what happened. You brought, and now you were 6 months you were away, and now you're not here. Now how come you're there? He said, each one of you, whatever you asked, I gave. So that's the story of asking and giving. So it depends. But so here Swami is saying, ask for sakshatkar.
That's right.
So you be like the last wife.
Yeah.
So don't, if you ask, I will give. But it's like going to the Kalpatarun asking for coffee powder, Swami says.
Yeah.
You go to the wish fulfilling tree and you ask for coffee powder. Then you get only asked once. So once, then if you ask coffee powder, and that's it, you have to be contented with the coffee powder. So, Sairam. Sorry, I hope that. I thought I will ask, and tripti, contentment. The reality is those people asked for those things, but they never reached contentment. Whereas the fourth wife, she had full contentment. Sairam.
And similar to what you said, brother, in the one word, Ramakrishna also said a similar thing, and he said, when you go to the king, if you ask 2 bags of brinjals, eggplants, what is the use of going to the king and ask 2 bags of sacks of eggplants? So you would have asked, oh, give me half the kingdom or something like that. So that's what, that's what you said.
Yeah,
Most Rakshasas, that's what happened. When God appeared in front of them, they asked all sorts of boons. And,
yeah, there's another small story also like that. That there was a exhibition that king was called for the people. There's a family went there, and they were the children. That she was very charming and good girl. Then king said that whatever she asks, you can give her. I will pay for that. Then that ministers looking for her, and they were asking what you needed. She said, no, I don't want anything. Then king was asking why she didn't get anything. The king would come and ask the girl, why didn't take anything from that? Then she said, I don't want anything, but I need you only. Why are you asking me? She said, if I get you, I will get everything. So she will get everything if she gets a king. That way we ask for God himself. We'll get everything. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Okay, there's no ending for this.
we are not satisfied with
we cannot be satisfied. Yeah. It's a very difficult area we were touching today.
I think why don't we develop contentment with this slide and go to the next one?
Yeah.
Unless someone has some question or comment. Anyway, yes, read, please.
More than all, if you possess contentment, santosha, the other 2 will be added to you. Nothing is more profitable than contentment. It is a treasure richer than the 3 worlds. The contented person can experience indescribable divine glory. Such a person is more joyful than the owner of the wish-bestowing cow, Kamadhenu, and the wish-bestowing tree, Kalparat. Such a person can immerse themselves within themselves and discover bliss therein. Do not strive for physical joy, discarding the more permanent joy of inner calm and contentment. Do not get attached to this evanescent body. Instead, utilize it as an implement. Consider yourself as separate from the destructible body, which was created out of the conjunction of the 5 elements. Know yourself as the indestructible Atma. Just as the house in which you dwell is separate from you, so the body, which surrounds you for a little time, is separate. The body is the root cause of all this grief, all this calamity, and all this slavery. Understand this well. Make the body obey your will and never bow down to it and follow its whims. Be prepared to cast it away. Resolve to control it and keep it under strict control. You have to deal carefully with the body. You have to train it with great attention.
Thank you very much, sister. So Swami is again speaking on the same thing. So there's nothing for me to add. I will just open it up for a discussion. And Swami has even mentioned the Kamadhenu and Kalpataru here. So
very nice. Yeah, the contented person is more joyful than the owner of the wish destroying cow, Kamadhenu and Kalpataru. Yeah. Because he has nothing to ask, no? So he doesn't want Kamadhenu and Kalpataru because he has nothing to ask, the contented person, nothing to ask. So yeah, so he definitely he will be most joyful person, contented person. Shaira.
Just a quick question. The first line where it says, if you possess contentment, the other two will be added to you.
Yeah, that is, I think that earlier he said Sandhi and Vicharana, Sandhi, Sandosha and Vicharana, three things he mentioned. So other than the Sandosha,
Okay.
the Sandhi and Vicharana are there in the early.
Okay.
Yeah.
So based on this second paragraph, so Swami here is saying that know yourself as the indestructible Atma. So if you understand yourself as Atma and separate from your body, you won't have these desires and wishes, worldly wishes, right? So I think, so Swami basically trying to say, if you identify yourself with the body, which is then that's when you have desires and all that. So correct, because he's also saying like, you know, don't let it bow down, don't bow down to it and things of that nature, like towards the end. So understanding the Atma is the most important to become content. Right?
Yeah, that's right. So Sairam. So Bhavan has been saying this again and again, no? Everywhere the same thing. Everywhere the same thing. He says, so identify yourself, your true identity as Atma. Take the body as an instrument, implement. He said an instrument, no? Here, implement. So as you said, the body is the root cause of all this grief, all this calamity, and all this slavery. Understand this well, make the body obey your will, so everything. So Bhavan is saying this one again and again, inquiry, but how to progress towards that. That's the brother used to ask, no, when we talk about this one. How to separate me from the body and align to Atma. So that cannot come easily, cannot come. No? So to get to that, we have to have the spiritual disciplines. Before, prior to spiritual discipline, we have to follow all the teachings, the essential teachings, basic teachings, truth, dharma. Those things are very, very essential. We cannot take it light, that one. So when we follow those basic principles and do the spiritual discipline, then we will be able to separate the body from us, from Atma. No, so that's one thing. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, brother, I like the body and the mind. So the mind both works together. If the body is not work perfectly, the mind also not going to work. So mind is very important to understand the Atma, to merge with the Atma. So we have to cultivate good habits and everything. So use the intellect. The mind supposed to work inwardly, not outwardly, because mind always, or senses, they want to enjoy their pleasure with the mind. So mind has to be controlled. How we can control? So with the good sadhana and everything, it has to go inwardly. That is my understanding. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother.
Okay.
I think we all, I mean, I think in terms of understanding what Swami has said, I think it's rather clear from what I think, unless someone has need to discuss this. We can, I think this is a lifelong thing also, you know, it's overnight we are not going to achieve, but at least if we know what we have to work towards, and I think that's good. So Swami has told, you know, that we are different from the body and realize that. So I think that will take some effort. So we can move to the next slide if it's okay, or.
In summary, everyone must develop the virtue of contentment through the practice of meditation, Dhyana Sadhana. Contentment is pure, sattvic quality. It will not transform you into an idler. No, not at all. Instead, it will permit the mind to travel towards the Lord, and it will grant peace. It would also hinder unessential activities that have profit for oneself as the aim. The contented person will be fully pure, sattvic, and will lead the inner life in communion with the Atma. The person can do any work without rest and without complaint. The waves of the mind, which sway in many directions, get a single aim. The sages, rishis, the religious mendicants, bhikshus, and yogis of the past realized the goal of life by means of the peace and came to them through contentment. Contentment gives all spiritual aspirants the enthusiasm and vigor necessary for treading the path that leads to realization of God, Sakshatara. Contented, the aspirant can ignore the dangers and difficulties of the path. The aspirant treats all the impermanent things of this life as a poison and discards them as trash. Discrimination and renunciation and the spirit of inquiry develop through contentment. The story of Meera is an example of this. Understand well the stories of Radha, Jayadeva, and Gauranga, for they will teach you the truth.
So thank you very much, sister. You know, the most, you know, at this point in time, we are doing 3 study circles. It is no coincidence that the same topic comes up in each of those. Yesterday, I think in the Dhyana Vahini's Tamil study circle, the same names showed up. Meera, Radha, Jayadeva, Gauranga, and so on. Swami wants us to take them as the examples. In this chapter, Swami is talking so much about the quality of vairagya, detachment, in a big way, as an essential step in the path of dhyana. That's what I can see. I will stop here and I will open it up for some discussion.
By vairagya, you mean the contentment here? Or
yes, brother.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Because Swami has to introduce the bhikshus, yogis, rishis.
Yeah.
They have all given up, you know, everything. Because they treat the world as poison and trash. Yeah. Which is vairagya. You know, you don't have any more attachment to the worldly things. They were willing to renounce. All these people renounced everything, each person. So I think that's why I said Vairagya. So Swami has not essentially used that word.
But yeah, it is indirect meaning of contentment, no? So, yeah.
Sai Ram, here Swami says that, yeah, that satisfaction is a very, very important thing to the spiritual path. That when you have satisfaction, satisfying the life, you will achieve everything. You have no worry about anything. You have peace in the mind all the time. So you can think about God all the time. That's the meaning Swami is going to give here, I think. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, brother.
Sai Ram, brother. This is the, as you have mentioned, we studied in the other Dhyana Vahini, these devotees, okay, these sages. In that, the priority was we are studying why the temple is important. From the temple, they have realized themselves. Here, the connection is with the body, renunciation, discrimination. If we get a little bit of understanding of these stories, then we can connect to both. So Mira, we know the story, but how this is being connected here and to the temple side, at least if we get a basic understanding, then I think it will be good to understand more. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, sister. So I will open it up for anyone who would like to share any story with any one of the devotees to start with. Anyone can volunteer. Anyone who knows. Mani Auntie, I don't know whether you want to. Sorry for. So let's start with Meera, I guess. If no one is volunteering, then I will spend a little bit of time. Maybe we can't cover all of. Otherwise I will just give a quick summary of each of those, I guess. Meera is everyone knows. She was a princess. From childhood, she had love for her idol of Krishna, and she got married because the husband seemed to be understanding of her devotion. And the husband loved her so much that he built a temple for the Krishna. And Meera spent all her time in the temple, and people didn't like it because there were all sorts of sannyasis and sadhus for coming and singing, and she was singing along with them. And so at the end, they pushed her out of the temple and then didn't give her access to the temple. And then she was so dejected because she only wanted Krishna, nothing else in this world. She didn't want to be the queen. She didn't want anything. So they tried to poison her. But she was not affected by even that. If she has to die, she will die. She was willing to die, but she wanted Krishna. That was her devotion. She never thought, I'm queen, but I am suffering here. She never thought like that. She was always contented with whatever was meted out to her by her family. But she wanted Krishna. She didn't want anyone to come between her and Krishna. So Tulsidas has said, if anyone family comes between, you just leave. You don't need the family if they are coming in between. So she left home and walked the streets to Vrindavan. She said, okay, I have to give up my Giridhara, who is in the Nagara, he's in the temple. Because there's a Nagara. The temples were called Nagaras in those days. The architecture itself is called Nagara. So even though she was in Vrindavan, she was praying, crying out to that Giridhara who was in that temple, who did not come along with her. She was banished almost. But she was not unhappy, because she was not unhappy because she thought of Krishna was with her. Same thing with Radha. Radha also had lots of challenges in Vrindavan. Actually, it's another village from Vrindavan, actually. She was also given to so much thorns and this. some family and relatives, but nothing, she was fully immersed in the thought of Krishna. Nothing could sway her. So she also underwent lots of sufferings. Jayadeva is, as you know, he was a great saint from the eastern part of India, Kerala, Orissa. And he was a poet. He also underwent many challenges. And once he went to a temple, he went to a king, and on the way back, the king had given a lot of presents. And some thieves found him and they asked for stuff. He said, I don't have anything. So they chopped his limbs off and dropped him in a well. That was the type of suffering he went through, but he was fine with that also. So that is the type of suffering Jayadeva underwent. His compositions are very well known.
Gita Govinda. Gita Govinda.
And his compositions are, devotion is in, drips from every word of his composition. That is Jayadeva. Gauranga is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Swami has all these characters. Swami himself has written dramas and made students enact them, every one of them. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he inspired the bhakti tradition in a big way. He's the one who went on the streets and sang the Maha Mantra, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, the Hare Krishna movement itself is an inspiration from him. So he was also a great devotee. People tortured through stones, and he went through a lot of suffering. But he was not swayed by any of that. So these are the devotees Swami wants us to set as examples. Maybe we can't rise to that level, but Swami wants us to at least a percentage, a small, to small extent at least, if we can imbibe their qualities. That is what Swami is setting us an example, because that means these are the people who are really doing meditation. They are the ones who are really doing meditation. So if you want to do meditation, Swami is telling, okay, here are some good examples of meditators. So you all want to follow them. And I think that's the example which Swami is holding out for all of us. So all these examples, Sairam, sorry.
Basically, all these devotees, Radha, Jayadeva, Gauranga, or Meera, the renunciation part of their lives, that we have to understand. Even though they were all facing lots of difficulties, still that goal with which they went on and faced all challenges in life, that is the lesson which we learn from them. Saira. Renunciation is the one thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts? I hope it doesn't seem.
Thank you very much, brother.
I hope people don't find it very daunting. But the thing is, if Swami has come down, if God comes down, he has to give us the best. Maybe in this life, we may not be able to reach that. But, that should be our goal, because he didn't come, many people think Swami came down to build some hospital, do a water project. No, he came for this actually. This is the main work of his, to set an example of devotion to which we can all strive. That's why
and the transformation of all hearts.
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. He came down to transform all of us, our basic desires, and towards the worldly desires we are going. He is asking us to go back to the source. Saira.
There's Swami saw the way to how to go to God. No, Swami says that God is love. Through love only you can reach me. Swami says.
Yeah. So it's about 4:44. Maybe we can continue from where we left off. And I think everyone will have opportunity to read up about some of these devotees. I'm sure there's enough material in the web also. And Swami also has mentioned here and there. in this discourse. So I think it's good, some homework for all of us to study, because next week, next Saturday is going to be Aradhana festival, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a good opportunity for us to, you know, at least Swami came down and he said, I have done my job, and, you know, dropped the body. Now it's for us to do the work. You know, he has come and given the material, the recipe for us to get to him. He says, okay, I was with body and, you know, fine, but now you come and get me. Like just like these devotees who never had, you know, none of these people lived when God was around in a physical form. So they give us good example. You know, they are the best people to follow and reach the Lord. Sai Ram, I will stop here.
Thank you, brother. So the announcement, very important announcement, that we have decided that afternoon study circle from next week to start at 3 o'clock, not 3:30. Narmada, you okay now for reading part? Narmada? So,
Yes, I'm okay.
yeah. So, there will be an email in the next week with the attachment of Tamil study circle material. There we will mention the time as 3 o'clock, both Saturday and Sunday. Going forward, from next week onward, it will be the time. So, so that whether sometimes the email from the from presidents might not come well in time to your inbox, but mark it. This is decided. So whether you receive the email or not, let us meet at 3 o'clock next Sunday and also Saturday, so 24th and 25th, and that will be the regular routine thereafter. And also there is already started, Geeta Mohan Ram is speaking through Zoom, and our president, Sister Aruna, forwarded the email. You can log in if you want, because she came many times and many people have directly seen her and listened to her and everything. But if at all you want to listen to her, you can log in now, right now itself. It's already started. Thank you. What else? Yeah, I think everything is covered. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So we'll close with Samasta Lokansha.
Yeah, what is that? Anybody, any question? No. Okay, go ahead. Brother, mind. Brother.
Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.